There was a time that I couldn't tell you where all my money went every month. All I knew is that it went fast. If this sounds like a common story for you, you're in good company. I've been there. Now, this channel, Pocket Changes, isn't about quick fix financial advice or shame inducing strategies. It's about real stories, small, pocket sized steps, and finding clarity in your spending plan, all without the guilt trip. Hey there, my name's Brett, and in this video, which is my first, so bear with a little bit of nerves and learning curve with the video editing, I want to share with you a little bit about my YNAB story, where I started, what changed for me, and why I now help others in their financial journeys as a YNAB certified coach. I grew up in a very average middle-class family. We had what we needed, never anything super flashy, but we also never really lacked anything. And money, it just wasn't really anything that we talked about. There was no budget talk around the dinner table and no real understanding of how my parents handled bills or savings or anything like that. I didn't grow up with financial trauma, but I also didn't grow up with financial literacy. But from a young age, my parents taught me the value of a dollar and the importance of hard work. I started working with a newspaper route and mowing lawns over the summer and anything I could do to make a dollar. And at that age, I was also a natural saver. By the age of 15, even before I had a learner's permit, I was able to buy my own car in cash, a cherry red Chevy Camaro. Granted, that had a door that didn't unlock from the outside and definitely wasn't highway safe, but hey, it was mine. What I didn't learn though was what to do with money once I had it, and that was the part that didn't catch up to me until much later. Now, college was a mix of hard work, privilege, and hustle. I had scholarships, I worked on-campus jobs, and I did paid internships during the summers, so I was lucky to graduate without student loans. But again, no one taught me how to manage my money. I didn't budget, I just kind of existed. If my checking account had money and wasn't empty, I assumed that I was doing okay. My financial plan was, we'll figure it out. It was very vibes-based, and in case you didn't know, that's not a financial plan. After college, I took a job with a nonprofit overseas. I had to raise my entire salary. That's right, 100% of my income came from fundraising. So with that, a raise didn't really feel like a win, it felt like a whole lot more work. And over time, when ends didn't meet, I started to fill in the gaps with credit cards. And I told myself the lie that so many of us tell ourselves of, I'll pay it off next month. But next month turned into next quarter, turned into next year, and the shame built up just as steadily as the interest on those credit cards. Now, at first it was manageable. $500 here, $800 there, but it slowly started to snowball until I had over $15,000 worth of credit card debt. And that kind of debt doesn't just weigh on your wallet, it weighs on your entire soul. I was constantly checking my bank account in bed, unable to sleep, feeling stuck, feeling like I should know better, feeling like I failed at something basic that everybody else had figured out, and feeling like I could talk to no one about it. It was pretty much at this point that came the moment that I couldn't have scripted better. It was a nice joke of cosmic proportions. So the nonprofit that I worked for had asked me to work and co-lead a series of workshops for soon-to-be college grads that were transitioning into the professional world. And one of the topics that I got invited to lead, how to manage your finances. Yeah, let that sink in. Me, the guy who was drowning in credit card debt and avoiding my financial problems like the plague. I get to lead the How to Manage Your Finances workshop. So the irony of that definitely hit me hard. I felt like a fraud, I felt like a hypocrite. So I started researching because I figured if I have to lead this session and give that talk, I better start taking my own financial problems seriously. And it was through that research that I finally found YNAB. And don't get me wrong, I had tried all of the things. Budgeting apps, Excel spreadsheets, journaling my spending. I had notebooks full of crossed out numbers and a ton of little napkin math trying to make the numbers work, but nothing ever stuck. Now, YNAB was different. It didn't ask me to budget for an entire month with money that I hoped would show up by the end of the month. It only made me work with the money that I had in my account at that exact moment. Every single dollar had to be assigned a job, and every single job had to have intention. Now, that was the first time creating a spending plan ever actually made sense to me. Even with my small, nonprofit paycheck, I started to feel like I actually had control for the first time ever. I created a spending plan, not just a list of restrictions, for once in my life. I was able to build up a 5-month emergency fund, and I prepped for a big life transition of leaving my role with the nonprofit. I even took a fully funded vacation without adding to credit card debt, so no guilt. Now, when my job with the nonprofit ended, I had enough saved to cover 5 months of expenses without having any income. I didn't add a dime to my debt during this time, and eventually I was able to find a job and move back to the US, where I began aggressively attacking the remainder of that original $15,000 mountain of debt. And I made my final payment just a little over 2 years of starting YNAB. Yeah, 2 years. After years of treading water, after years of feeling like I'm drowning, like I can't make it out alive, just 2 years of intention is what set me free. And that transformation was too big to keep to myself. That's why I looked into becoming a YNAB certified coach, because I know the pain of feeling stuck, of trying all the quote unquote right things and still falling behind. And I know what it feels like now to finally sleep at night, to look at my bank account and breathe instead of panic. Now I work with my clients to create that same peace for their own lives, for their families, and for their goals. But the truth is, most people don't need a full financial overhaul. They simply need a clear plan, a next step forward, one that reflects their actual values and their real priorities without shame or pressure. And that's what I help people build. So this channel, Pocket Changes, is here to share that same philosophy with you. Real stories, stories like mine, stories like yours, maybe even some special guests in the future. Who knows where we'll grow? We're going to share some easy to follow tips and tutorials. And we're looking for something practical, not preachy, not pedantic, something that's real for you. We're going to look at spending plan audits, where I'll walk through actual budgets to help you get a sense of clarity and learn from other people's real world situations. And most importantly, we're going to create a no shame zone to be able to finally talk about money. Here on this channel, we're not about perfection. We're simply about progress. So if you've ever felt stuck, behind, or like your money just evaporates the second it hits your account, stick around. Subscribe to this channel if this resonates. You can drop a comment down below. You can share where you're at in your own journey, or even share a question. And if you're curious to try YNAB out for yourself, go ahead and check out the link that I've left in the description. You'll get a free 34-day trial that YNAB offers to everyone, but if you use my link and you decide to stick with YNAB for the long haul, you'll get an extra month added to your subscription. So it's a win-win. And also, if my shirt didn't give it away, I had the chance to attend the YNAB Fan Fest in San Diego just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm happy to be repping the shirt and also a nice YNAB mug. And I might even do a little video in the coming weeks to show my full YNAB haul, because there were a lot of stickers. So I'm excited to grow this community with you all, to be able to celebrate the wins, both big and small, and also help each other spend intentionally and guilt-free. Thank you guys for joining me on today's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.